Okay, this is the first in a series that I'm going to create on how to generate seller leads from your website, and I'm going to show you what we did to put together the website for Bob Knakal, who is the #1 commercial real estate broker in history, with something like 2,400 and what is it, 2,388 building sales, and how he is dominating his market. He got in the last 12 months, 15 months, he did 1.7 billion in sales. Did I think 34 sales, and it's this website here that is doing a lot of the work for him. It's bringing in a lot of business. There's an SEO strategy, and I'm going to walk through a lot of different things. I'm not going to be able to cover it all in this video. There's just too much to go through, but you can replicate this model in your market. You don't have to be Bob with 40 years of experience and everything, but and a huge track record. You can build this and start out with zero, just like Bob. Bob, when he started years ago, he had zero sales, and I'm going to show you what he did. And basically, in my exclusive listing pitch kit that outlines the entire program, because I worked with Bob from day one. I helped him build his business that he ended up selling for 100 million. And today I'm working with Bob. Bob and I talk twice a week. We go over different strategies, and we're talking about how do we get in front of people doing specific searches. So we're going after this in one niche at a time. So what you're going to be following here is a pretty amazing strategy. So if you look right here, okay, let's start at the very top, right at the top. Okay, you've got your exclusive listings, you've got closed transactions, you got success stories, you got media. So what Bob is doing here, and the business model is you're going to see that Bob focuses on a small market. Now, each one of these, when you come in here, now one of the things that he built was this big map of New York City. And you could do this in your market too, because what it's doing is it's demonstrating expertise. And what Bob does is he digs deep into his market. Showing up and just being a commoditized type of broker does not generate the seller leads. That does not get you exclusive listings. Number one, you've got to be able to get the leads. Secondly, you've got to be able to give the presentation to get the exclusive listings. So there's a number of steps in the whole process. You want to be a real estate professional. And the only way you can be a pro is by developing expertise in one thing. And if you see these pictures on the wall, these are all little micro markets that Bob and his team go after. And this is how, when I worked with Bob for many, many years, this is what we did. I worked a tiny little market, and I knew that market. I knew every building. I knew the value of every building. I knew every sale. I knew what was going on in the market. I knew about, what was being rehabbed. I knew everything. And that's really what you want to do to build your business and build a website that's going to do the producing for you. Now, this right here, this is just a very simple video that was created to, Bob's. It's like, hey, come on in, take a look at my map room. You could do this. Anybody could do this. All you need is a conference room. Okay. You don't have to have everything like this, but anybody can do this. All right. So let's move on. So back up here, closed transaction success stories. Now, I will tell you what moves the needle and generates the business more than anything are success stories. Now, you may not have success stories, but what people want to know is they want to know what's going on in the market, and they want to know what's selling. And if you deliver those results, you target a very specific market, you are going to be recognized as the expert. Now, from a Google search perspective and ranking on Perplexity and Grok and Gemini and all the rest, it's all the same strategy. All these algorithms are looking at, they're getting their information online. They're not making this up out of thin air. They only have resources on websites to pull from. Primarily, this is where they're pulling the information from. So you can see right here, what we're doing is, large scale development sites sold, 79th Street, 38th Street, 57th Street, 63rd Street, 24th Street, 25th Street, 37th Street. So what you're going to see is the majority of the properties that Bob is selling. Cooper Square, I believe that's down by Gramercy Park. But the majority of these buildings are either people that Bob knows because he works a very focused market, or they're coming in from people doing searches online and they're seeing this kind of information here. So this is how you attract seller leads. Now, you can do the same strategy just with comparable sales, even if you don't have the results yet. If you don't have these kind of results. Now, I'm going to go into this at a later date, but you can see how each one of these headlines, and this is a whole nother training, right? Headlines are key. Headlines tell the story without even anybody needing to look and read the content. Now you can see, look at some of the buildings: $600,000, $900,000, $2 million, $17 million, $1 million. And, over time, I'm going to show you a lot of amazing results. Even one property that Bob sold for $1 billion this past year. And, but you know, it didn't start out that way. It started $600,000, $900,000, $2 million. This was the bread and butter. This is what built Bob into the biggest broker in history, banging out a lot of these are older sales, $1.6 million, $1.8 million, that kind of thing. All right. Now I'm just going to show you something real quick here. If you look at each one of these properties, right? Bob is keeping a really good records of, historical records. He's taking photos that he's had for many, many years. And you can see, if you look at each one of the success stories, there's a reason why we create them the way we do. These are very, very specific. There's a whole training in how to do this. It's very simple, but it's important to understand it. Geographic information, numeric data, certain kind of layout. What it's doing is this is creating trust. We've got Google frequently asked questions. There's a reason why we have frequently asked questions, but I'll get into that later. But for now, let's just take a look at what we've got here. So you've got your listings, you've got success stories, and you've got the media. These three things are the most important, right? It's like, what do you got on the market? What have you done? And then the media is the ultimate, because that is what is creating that trust factor. You need that trust factor. You need a way to stand out from everybody else. Now let's go back over here. I want to go back to the home page, because this is really where it starts out. We did not start out with a website. We started out with a strategy. And when Bob and I started talking about this strategy, he was still at another firm. He had not left to start his own, this particular firm. Now, a little history. I worked with Bob for numerous years. Bob ended up selling the business about 10 years ago for $100 million. He went over to Cushman & Wakefield. He went over to JLL, which is a big firm. And then he left about April of 24. He started this firm focused specifically on development sites and rehab properties. That's primarily what he's focused on. He's done a lot of apartment building sales, a lot of other kind of deals. Now, what he's done is he's built a network where he is referring business that is not specifically in his wheelhouse. So anyway, when you look at the website, clear message. So you've got your menu bar. Very, very important to keep it as simple as you can, because your menu bar tells the story about what you do. This video right here tells the story of what you do. Maximizing sales prices in New York City. Now, you could say this in your market: maximizing the sales price in Bayonne, New Jersey. Maximizing the sale price in Plano, Texas, Miami, Vegas. It doesn't matter where you are. Whether you're residential, commercial, or you're a resimercial broker and you're specializing in a combination of residential and commercial, and marketing, development site, completed development sites like condos and, apartment rentals and that kind of thing. So this is the focus here. Bob's focus is 100% on exclusive listings. And what we're going through here is an exclusive listing business model. So I'm just going to show you a couple key things, and then we're going to, I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to create number 2 in the series, and I'm going to walk through a series of how we built this website. But I wanted to just show you real quick before we wrap up here. If you look here, look at the sales hooks. These are all, we do these in 3s. There's a reason why we do these in 3s. I'll explain that later. One of the reasons why is that it's what's really called the magnificence of 369. And what this does is we're creating a rhythm. We're making it very, very easy for the consumer, the seller of the property, somebody that's looking to sell their property when they're going online. It could be an estate, could be a family office, could be a bank, could be an owner, could be somebody in a partnership, heirs to an estate, that kind of thing. And you can see what it is: seller only focus, no conflicts, maximum results, experience, defense, leverage, exclusively New York. Like, everything is right here. Everything is here. This is doing the selling for Bob. Everything about what they do and how they do it is right here. This right here tells you specifically what they're doing: property sales, note sales, valuations, consultations, market reports, land arbitration, expert witness, zoning analysis. These are all the things that they're doing. And so the messaging is very, very clear. So I'll just give you a little bit of let's take a look at the development sites. We click the development sites and we go over here. And the one thing that we did was I worked with Bob to create these videos here. And the video was just made with an iPhone, a little bit of description up here. But what's important here is that Bob is giving you an introduction to this page. He's not trying to sell anything. He's just explaining the development site page. Now, right here, he's got this great book. You can fill in your name, address, and phone number, and then you can go over here and you can see everything about development sites. We did this through many, many pages. So I'm going to just end this video right here, and I'm going to go into the next video and I'm going to talk more about this, because this right here, if you do this right, you're going to have the website doing the selling for you. It eliminates the need for cold calls. You'll never be doing cold calls. You'll be generating a lot of inbound business from people that find you online. They're pre-sold, and that's the first step in getting an exclusive listing. So hope this is helpful to you, and we'll see you on the next video.